Hey everybody, I'm John. I collect cards. I hope you're all doing well. It's Wednesday, March 12th, and I'm getting this VR in just under the wire here for Sammy Thunder, who just recently surpassed 3,000 subscribers. Awesome number. That's like the 3,000 hit club the way I look at it. That is just an incredible milestone. So, Sammy, congrats on the fantastic milestone and all the great videos you do. Such a fun time enjoying your channel, and I look forward to watching your cardboard and cold ones on Thursday the 13th when you're going to have, I believe, Scott Reindeer Studios on. I've got my Reindeer Studio shirt for this video as asked for in this VR, but it's an interesting shirt I put on because I have a straightforward, amazing, love this shirt Topps shirt from their, the designs from 52 to maybe even 51 might be on here, all the way to 89. I think it's up to 89. But in this video, Sammy asked us to share some oddball cards. So, in other words, some non-Topps flagship cards in this video. And so I'm going to do that. And I really look forward to turning the phone around, diving into that, because I just picked up some really interesting cards here just in the last few days, including today. So hang on just a sec. Well, I'm sure you heard one of my two cats in the background a few seconds ago howling away while I was on record there, and I just blasted through that take because I kind of needed to be at one take because I'm really cutting it close to 12 o'clock midnight here. It's about 10 o'clock by the time I get through this and upload it and all that jazz. It'll probably be close to 11, so... but anyway, let me run through some oddball cards. I guess you could, I'm calling all of these oddballs. Oddball in shape, size, manufacturer or card issuer. Everything from, large size cards to food issue cards to maybe an alternate set from a card issuer that did a more flagship oriented kind of set. I think at least one example like that too. So let's get right to it, and I'm going to start with this one that I've shown a couple of times on my channel, maybe more than a couple, but I consider this oddball. This is a 1960 McGregor. It's like a photo card. So there have been several of these VRs actually that have been trying to help us maybe collectively in a consensus kind of way what constitutes oddball. And so that has been a very interesting and kind of fun part of watching these videos, actually, these VRs, which I've enjoyed. I know Theo really broke it down to Clemente Collector, I think into 8 categories. I really enjoyed Theo's video there. And I would call this an oddball card. It's oddball in that it's also a pretty hard to find card. These 1960 McGregors, I guess, they kind of had athlete, spokespeople, baseball advisory staff of champions here. Love the maze pose here. I don't have the pop count handy on this. It's a PSA 5, but it's a pretty low pop count. It's like, I don't know, it might be lower than 50, it might be fewer than 50 maybe between SGC and PSA. It might be a little over 50, but it might not be. It's pretty small. But really like picking this up. It's a blank back. I really enjoy having it in my collection. I'm almost certain it's the biggest slab I have in my collection. But it's just a great photo. It reminds me, this photo, part of the reason why I bought this card, not just because it's maze, but that is a big reason. Part of this reminds me of my dad. Apparently had, and I got to see briefly, although I did not hold on to them, unfortunately, and I kind of wish I did, but I didn't really know what it was at the time or what they were. But he had I think a series of J Photos. I think it's J Photos, the photo issuer that did team sets. He had a 1962, I think, Giant set, or at least some of the cards that I saw. And just, it's just a kind of a standard black and white, maybe a 5x7 kind of photo. And so when Mike Baseball Collector kind of put this up for sale, I think he had 2 of these going up for sale. It just instantly kind of reminded me of those J Photos cards, and I really wanted to add this, see if I could pick this up, and I was able to do that. So love having this. This is one of my favorite Oddball cards in my collection. So we got that one of the Say Hey Kid. Another reason why I really like that card is because McGregor was my first mitt, as probably a lot of our first mitts were McGregor's. A lot of our, a lot may have had a Rawlings mitt, but I had a McGregor mitt. So, okay, here's the other big card I wanted to show. Also something I've shown before, a 1970 Topps Super of Reggie Jackson. Love this card. Love the pose. I love that it's basically, a classic, the classic 70 design, but yeah, let's supersize it. And so I just love the photo of Reggie in Yankee Stadium in his second year. Look how young he is there in the, still in the sleeveless A's jerseys. So it's sort of, I don't know. If it wasn't in Yankee Stadium, I probably wouldn't love the card as much as I do, but I still would like it quite a bit. But the fact that it's in Yankee Stadium with the facade in the background, and it's the old stadium actually too, pretty cool. So, or old as an original stadium, but wanted to show that card. Happens to be in a PSA 8. Picked it up at the National this past last year in Cleveland. So those are the two large Oddball cards I'm showing, and I'm like looking around like, where am I going to stick this for the rest of the video before I put it away? So I called the name of this video Cereal, Twinkies, and Other Oddball Cards, something like that. So I wanted to kind of show a few food issue cards that I have. And overall, let me say real quick that I do have 3 new cards that I kind of teased at the start of the video. I'm going to show them at the end, but I'm going to go through everything here pretty quick. I got, I don't know, 3, 4, I got about 8 or 9 cards more to show here. But let me show some of these, some cereal cards, like this Roger Maris 61 Post, and this 64 Wheaties stamp, which is, kind of almost looks like a card. It's a big stamp. 64 Wheaties stamp and a 61 Post Roger Maris. Both of these were Bargain Hunters pickups in my collab with Steve. For some reason, a lot of times when we do that that joint kind of ongoing series we have, I always tend to look to see if there's a possibility of me getting something outside of Flagship. And I'd say more times than not, I've been able to do that. Which is, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like, let me see what I can get for this budget. Maybe something different. And so here, I just want to show the backs of these. This is the perforated version of this postcard. I think they have a hand-cut one as well. This one was perforated. It's a VG3 by PSA, and this one is a PSA 4. This looks great. This, for sort of at a glance, eye appeal on this one is, they're both really good. But I've mentioned how I love this portrait image of Clemente, and it's a 61 Topps card basically, but it's so much brighter. This version of this portrait, it's much more closely cropped, so it's his chin is practically on the bottom of the card or stamp, but I just love that the brightness of it compared to the 61 where it's just much more muted. I don't know, it obviously wasn't an exposure for the original shot, unless maybe it was and they did some serious work afterward to brighten it up. Maybe for this particular card / stamp, but I don't know. I just think this was an awesome image of him, and so I wanted to pick this one up, add it to the collection. I'm showing the back because I'm showing where kind of the wrinkle is right here. If you'll see that right there, it's a little bit of a divot there, and that's what's giving it the 4. It's a little visible on the front too if you look hard enough. It's not coming through so great there, but that's partly why I love it so much, is because it's hard to pick up that imperfection. So there are 2 cereal cards, and I'll say it right now, stay tuned. I got one more cereal card to show near the end. All right, let me show you this other food issue card. I mentioned Twinkies before, so I've shown this one as well. This is I've shown this once before. This was a 1978, or is a 1978 Hostess, George Brett. I remember these cards so much as a kid. I definitely cut a few out. My brother and I cut a few of these out. They probably didn't last long in the house. They were probably just scattered around, and we didn't really hold on to them, kind of like our regular Topps cards that we'd open up in packs every morning, or pretty much every morning. But the backs of these cards, the circle number, just to me, it just brings me back instantly to being like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid. So just love the backs of these. And this is right now the only one I have since I've gotten back in the hobby. I think I'll probably look to pick up at least a couple of more, maybe one from each year, maybe. They did them for 5 years, I want to say. I think 75 was the first year, up through either 79 or 80. I think 79 was maybe the last year. Maybe picking one up from each year might be pretty cool. So something I might look to do. That one's an SGC 5. Really like that card. Okay. I'm going to now go away from food for a bit. And I've got, let's go back, way back here. This is going to be the oldest card, actually, in the video. Shown it once before. Is it going to be the oldest card? Yeah, by a little bit. Okay. I want to show this card again. I want to talk about this one for a minute. I just love this card. 1934-36, batter up Melot. For one thing, I love having a Melot card. His Gouty cards are not cheap. This one is a decent amount more affordable. This is made by, these batter ups were made by National Chickle, the maker of the Diamond Stars cards. And so, Diamond Stars for them was really kind of their flagship for that when they were making cards in the mid-30s. This was another kind of product they did, meant to be a die cut, and, tear away the top and let it make it a stand and stuff. Kind of like the top stand-ups from 64. I really like these batter-ups, though. Got this in an REA auction, actually. Won an REA auction. It's the only batter-up I have currently. There is another batter-up I've identified that I really want to add, and it would be the only card of that player that I would have in the collection once I do get it, and that's the Jimmy Fox. I think he has 2 cards in this set, but it's the card number 28. That happens to be number 27, and Jimmy Fox is a number 28, and I would love to pick up one of those. Now, these batter-ups come in multiple colors, actually, like kind of color hues. There's this green, which I love with the SGC flip, how it kind of matches, actually. And so it just really works in the tux, I think. I really like this card. I'm going to bring it up close for another second here. It's a great image of him swinging. Even if it is, they're all poses, of course, but really, really cool. There's blue, there's black and white, classic black and white, sepia. So there's multiple hues of these, which are pretty cool. Magenta, I think, too. So really like having that one. All right. I'm going to show another card that graded a 3 by SGC. It's the only football card you'll see in this video. It's a Joe Namath from 1970 Top Super Glossy. I just love how, it's just another part of the hobby that I just really enjoy since being back in, is just kind of getting exposed in some ways for the first time, in a lot of ways for the first time, these kind of random issues that these companies did. Some of them were only one-offs. Maybe some they did for a few years and then stopped, or, for whatever reason, just being able to kind of go into that back catalog of kind of random cards that are just still in their own way super cool. Like this Joe Willie here. Love the color gradient. It's just so cool. It's way off center, but I got it raw from my LCS. Actually got it as a throw-in for another card I got that day, and so this was basically a freebie card, and I just wanted to get it slabbed because I thought it was so cool. It was going to look so much better in a tux than in a top loader, I thought, especially since it's rounded corners. I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I knew I would if I were to get it in a, get it graded and in a slab to protect it a little bit more. So that's what I did, and it's just a cool image of Joe, and so thought I'd show that one for this video. And let's see, I want to make sure I don't miss one. I've got the rest of my cards kind of scattered around here. I've got 5 more to show. Let's pick up the pace, John. No, 4 more to show. 4 more to show. All right. All of these last 4 cards haven't been shown. One of them I've had for a few months, and the other 3 just came in the last week or less, and 2 of them today. So here we go. Now we're going to start to truly get odd. This is probably the oddest of the oddballs in this video, and I've been thinking about whether to show it, and I've decided, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's technically a non-sports card, but it's also a baseball card, and happens to also be a food issue card. So we're going back to kind of sweet treats here. Before I show it, I'll just talk it up a little bit. At last year's National, I was at a table of this dealer that had these really, really cool cards from 1970. It's only a six card set, and it's from probably the most famous comic strip of all time. That being, of course, Peanuts, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, etc., et al. There were these really cool cards, and I talked with a guy about it for probably about 10 minutes, and he was giving me, a bit of an education on them. And knowing that it's only 6 cards, and I'm thinking, you know what, I've got to just sort of put this in the back of my mind as a someday thing. I might have to go down this road and maybe pick one up. And so I didn't get one that day from him, because these cards can actually be very pricey because they are pretty tough to find. Here's the card I have. I'm showing you a card of Lucy Van Pelt, her baseball rookie card that I picked up in an auction on eBay back, I don't know, in the fall. It was already graded a 3 SGC. You look up on VCP, I think there are like 2 sales of this card. There's not a lot of them out there, but it's just, I don't know. I grew up with Peanuts. I grew up with Peanuts, Charlie Brown, Snoopy and the gang, and baseball cards in a lot of ways. I also, watching baseball and sports. For a good chunk of my childhood, I was into the Peanuts, and so I just think this card is awesome. Bring it up close. It's just such a cool picture, and it's like the perfect illustration that Charles Schultz did for this set. I believe these were original illustrations he did specifically for these cards. Not 100% certain of that, but I think it was. So there are, again, 6 cards in this set. I'll talk a little quickly on this and then move on. This is going to be a 20-minute video, as it turns out. The 6 cards are Lucy. She's probably the easiest one to find, actually, even though there aren't many of any of them. Then there's Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Peppermint Patty, Linus, and Schroeder, and Lucy. So I think Lucy's probably the least expensive, and the others can really get up there. Charlie Brown is pitching, Snoopy's in the field, Linus is actually throwing like a runner out at first or something. It's actually a really cool drawing. Schroeder's in his catcher's gear. Peppermint Patty's batting, and she was the all-star of them all. So that's kind of a cool decision there. But they're just super fun. So I wanted to show this for the first time in this video. These are blank backs, by the way, if I hadn't shown the back yet. So if you have seen these before and hadn't seen one in a while, I'm happy to show this. If you didn't even know these cards existed, I'm also happy to show this. So I just think they're fun, and wanted to trot this out at some point, and I thought this occasion was the perfect time to do it. So, all right. Lucy Van Pelt's time in the spotlight, as I'm sure she enjoyed. Okay, let's go to the new cards we picked up now in the last 3 days. I'm actually going to start with the 2 cards that arrived today. That's what I'm going to do first. Okay, this was just some crazy lucky eBay auction. I don't know how I stumbled onto it, but I did, and it was something going for super cheap. And the listing, I'm actually going to put a picture of the listing up on this video so you can see how sometimes these random oddball eBay listings can really work in your favor. The title of the video, the title of the listing was simply called Vintage, like baseball postcards, and here they are. I'm just going to show them really quick without further ado. Look at that. Look at that. Joe DiMaggio. Look at that. Hank Greenberg. Are they beat up? Yeah, sure. Do they have paper loss? Yeah, sure. Because of tape, trying to remove tape here and down here. Although these two actually blend into the grass, in my opinion, pretty well. These are 1939 to 46 exhibits salutations. And to me, the salutations part makes it oddball. If exhibits weren't oddball unto themselves in that they came, I think, out of like they were in penny arcades and in kind of vending machines, and you put a penny in and got a card. I think that's how it worked. I think the fact that you're seeing cordially Joe DiMaggio, truly yours, Hank Greenberg, to me that's a little bit oddball and kind of fun. And that, I mean, I'm a little sad that this paper loss is here because you cover that up. That is just such an awesome picture of Hank Greenberg. But I'm telling you, I got these cards. I mean, you're going to see the listing in terms of what I paid for this. I paid like $37 for these two cards out the door. Like less than $40 with tax and shipping out the door on these. I mean, you can look up on VCP what DiMaggio alone is going for as an authentic or a 1. And, it's tough to say if this will go off. This could maybe grade a 1. I think with that much paper loss on Greenberg, it might end up being an authentic. But we'll see. I couldn't resist picking these up. These are my first 2 exhibits of any year. I don't have any of the 46 to 64. I can't remember what the other year span is for those other ones. But these are the first exhibits I have from any year. So, and I mean, the DiMaggio is just cool. I've got 3 images of DiMaggio now in the last like 6 to 8 months. And yeah, I don't know. I'm a Joe D fan. I just am. So, Yankee, all-time great, Yankee Clipper. I don't know. He's got some kind of aura to him and mystery. He's a mysterious dude. And, he's a very reserved kind of to himself guy. And I don't know, there's something about that just kind of draws me in, especially how incredible he was as a ball player. So, and Greenberg himself, what a ball player he was. Man, super slugger. I mean, these are 2 guys that I would wish I could have seen play in person. So, but I love having these 2 cards, and I will get both of these graded, actually. I want these slabbed. I want them, even if they, have big A's on them or authentics on them, that is totally fine. Love having these 2. And yeah, look forward to getting those in a tux and protected at least a little bit. Okay, let's go to the last card in this video because it's over 20 minutes now. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it. I've had fun trotting out these oddball cards, talking a little bit about them. Here's the last one, so I'll talk it up for just a few seconds. I was in my LCS this weekend, and it had been probably about a month since I was in there. In one of them, in both of them actually. I have 2 in town, and I visited both last Saturday for the first time in about a month. And this card I'm about to show was just sitting on a shelf in a case with a bunch of other 50s like Topps and Bowmans. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, whoa, I don't think I see this card very much or very often. I don't think I see these cards all that often. And I instantly had to like kind of do some comps and just sort of look up on VCP, and I'm like, I gotta pick this card up. It's just so cool. And the price was too good. So here it is. We're back to cereal. Look at this card I picked up a few days ago. This is one of these things where you're not planning to buy a Ted Williams card when you walk into an LCS, and bam, there you go. I dropped $50 and picked up a Ted Williams card. I didn't even think about asking, what can we do on this? $50 for a 52 Wheaties Ted Williams action pose. He's got 2 cards in this, portrait and action pose. And it's got creasing in it, as you can see. And, these are hand cut, and so you don't know how it's going to grade. Like half of these cards, just doing some looking up on pop reports and whatnot, half of these cards come back authentic from either, any grader. And so you have to assume it's going to come back authentic, and that's fine. But I will slab this as well, and I just thought this was another crease right there a little bit. It doesn't really show on the front though. But man, I just think this is so cool. I love the line art on this. It's like, kind of I guess a basic kind of standard line, pen and ink line art kind of drawing. And maybe I'm not the artist at all. So is Scott, if you're watching, please correct me on that if I'm way off there. But this is such a cool pose of him, and cool rendering, and to me the price was just too right to pass up, so I picked this up. And I don't know, I wanted to indicate, just show you how I found it on the shelf. I couldn't believe I got it for that. So those are my oddballs I wanted to show here in this video. So thanks again for sticking with me. Sammy, thanks for the opportunity to, let's get Lucy in the background. If I can get this right, the right way. We'll put Lucy up, and let's put you know what? We're gonna put Mel up here. Actually, I want to put that card up there because I just think that's a cool card. And we'll put these two guys. These guys are raw, and they're both gonna not grade great. So just you can't even see DiMaggio. Anyway, let me wrap this up. I'm kind of going all over the place, but again, thanks as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Sammy, thanks again. Congrats again, and I'll see you all on the next video. Take care.